Locals' plans for camps may be in the works again.
New York State is still fighting for the right to set up camps.
It allows the Department of Health to pick and choose which New Yorkers they can lock up or lock down without any proof that you're sick. There's no time limit. There's no location restrictions. They can remove you from your house with the force of police. You would have no say.
And if we don't stop them here, this goes on to other things. And it goes to other states.
This is happening now, and let me know, is it time to get out of New York? Take a look. The New York Appellate Division has ruled in favor of Governor Kathy Hochul in a landmark case for government overreach. Rule 213, isolated quarantine and procedures will give the state of New York the ability to come into your home and take you away to quarantine you without any notice and for any virus or infection they deem necessary. You won't have any option to fight it. No court date. Nothing. The rule has no age limit, and they can keep you for as long as they like. The rule also allows them to treat you as they see fit, including using methods that are still in testing. This is one of the biggest abuses of power that this country has ever seen. This is only the beginning. How long until this is nationwide or even global? As I mentioned, let me know your thoughts. This has come out in the past week, and take a look at the headlines coming out over the past week. Appeal planned after New York Supreme Court reinstates camp regulations. Court reverses previous ruling on New York State isolation and quarantine procedures. Quarantine isolation law reinstated after Appellate Division decision. And New York just made it legal to quarantine and isolate citizens indefinitely. Now, as I mentioned, I'm going to be sharing with you the latest on these articles so that way you can see exactly what's taking place. And yes, this has taken effect in the past week. The state of New York now has the ability to isolate, quarantine, and to do so however they see fit and for whatever duration. This, they said, is going to be appealed again as this continues on. And in addition to that, take a look at what just came out right after this. Hochul announces new step to counteract rising online hate speech, as they're also saying they need to control the speech and the narrative to make sure that people are getting what they are saying is the truth. I'm going to share with you the latest. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Now, before we dive in, do me a quick favor. If you appreciate the updates, even though they might not necessarily be what you want to hear, but you appreciate getting the latest news, smash the like button for me. Just takes a second. And if you want to stay up to date, it's totally free. Why not hit the subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. I'll let you know everything going on. But with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at these articles that have come out in the past week and what's going on in New York to get you caught up on the latest. And let me know, is it time to get out of the state of New York? So link in the description below to this article that came out just a couple days ago that says New York just made it legal to quarantine and isolate citizens indefinitely. Now, what has happened in New York? Well, a New York appellate court has just upheld Governor Kathy Hochul and the state's appeal that the government should have the authority to isolate and or quarantine anyone with a highly contagious disease. Regulation 10 NYCRR 2.13 established isolation and quarantine procedures for people that were suspected of having communicable disease. The original regulation wasn't even during COVID. It was enacted under the state's emergency authorization powers on February 22nd, 2022. It has been renewed in 90-day intervals, with the state pushing for permanent adoption. A legal challenge ensued, with the New York Supreme Justice upholding the plaintiff's argument, saying that it's unconstitutional. At New York Attorney General Letitia James's behalf, the appellate court has now overturned the ruling, and it is downright frightening the consequences that this could have on America's liberty. Now, the state will now be able to instruct the Department of Health to pick and choose which New Yorkers they can lock up or lock down without any proof that they are sick and without any proof that you've been exposed to a communicable disease, according to the attorney Debbie Ann Cox. It gets worse. There is no limit, so they can lock you up or lock you down for days, weeks. There is no location restriction. They can put you in any facility they want. They can either lock you down in their house or they can remove you from their house with the force of police and put you in a facility, detention center that they choose. You would have no say. Oh, and if that wasn't enough, there's no procedure in how you actually get out of the quarantine once you get there, which is why the original New York Justice Plowetz ruled that this involuntary detention is a severe deprivation of individual liberty.